Peace, family. Hey, let's cover up these fig trees. Winter protection time. Leg out. I got a problem. I got a strange addiction. Somebody help me. I need an intervention. It ain't alcohol or weed. There's just one thing that I need. I got an addiction to fruit trees. I got an addiction to fruit trees. I take a persimmon to breathe. Hey, the next one I'm getting got an addiction to fruit trees. Alright, so I was trying to wait for little camera lady, but I don't know. I think she's trying to like sneak. She's trying to be sneaky and do some Christmas shopping. So, you know, I'm kind of on my own. So y'all gotta bear with me. Now, let me show you. I'm gonna show you what I did. I'm doing this now because I'll show you. Hold on one second. All right, so if you see like these mounds here, like this one here, there's a few over there. I'm not gonna go over each one of them, but these mounds are, this is pretty much how I'm gonna try to winter protect my figs this year. First of all, this is not my method. Like, this is not a method that I came up with on my own. This is a method that's been used for a long time. And what it entails is, you know, taking your fig tree after it's dormant and just kind of bending it down. Now don't worry, they're pliable, so they'll move without being damaged. And just kind of holding them down there. I'm gonna use this rock for this tree. This is my Peter's Honey fig tree. And then covering it up with organic material. I mean, you can use wood chips, you can use soil. Some people use soil, some people use wood chips. I'm gonna be using this stuff, the forestry product that I've been, you know, pretty much preaching since, I guess, the past couple of months. I'm gonna be using that and cover it up. And that should keep it insulated. Now, the reason why I'm trying to rush, because I'm still in my work clothes, I'm trying to rush and get this finished up today because our forecast is calling for freezing rain, first of all. It's supposed to go tomorrow all day. And then also, I've got some friends, for some friends that have been asking me about winter protecting the fig trees, for people that I've actually given fig trees to. I want to kind of go over this so that your trees don't have to start over next year, and you know, you'll be able to enjoy fruits from it. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna try doing this one-handed, and I'll show you how it goes. Y'all remember Woody Woodpecker from back in the day? We got I don't know if you can see him, but we got a woodpecker. There's been a lot of, and it's funny because like he'll show himself, but then as soon as I pull the camera out, he kind of hides, but he's right there. The camera doesn't do him any justice, but he's actually beautiful. But it's funny because like this year I've seen so many different varieties of like birds here. But he's been here, his nest is like right there. And he's been very, very active out here. So let me see if I can wrap around. There he goes, there he goes. Man, I wish I had a better camera because he's very pretty. You a handsome dude, Woody. You a handsome dude, Woody. All right, that's enough of that. All right, we're back. So here's the materials that I'm using. This is my forestry products. My forestry product. Just to kind of recap as far as where I got this, landfill. Y'all go to the landfill and get you some of this But I'm using that, and I'm using a rock. Originally, when I started doing the ones that I showed you before, I tried to use landscape pins to pin it down, but they are pliable, but they're strong. So the landscape pins didn't hold them. So I'm using a rock to hold them down, and I'll just cover the whole thing. Here's the rock. Bam. Wait, let me turn it the other way. And excuse the movement with the camera. That's pretty much what it'll look like. Now this one here, I'm gonna cut that, I'm gonna clip it and see if I can get it to root, and then maybe gift it to somebody in the spring. So I'm not worried about covering that. So I'm gonna take my forestry product. This is crushed leaves, there's some wood chips in here, grass, all types of stuff. And I'm just gonna cover it up. So let me do that, because I can't do that with just one hand, and then I'll come back and show you. All right, so there it is. Now, as far as this method is concerned, like I said, this is not a method that I invented. This is one that plenty of people have been using for long periods of time. So I'm using it hoping that it'll work in my area. I basically covered it with probably about, I'd say, at least 8 inches of the organic material. Now, in my beds here, I've got strawberries. Some of them got covered, you know, I'm hoping they survive, but if not, we have some here that I'll lightly cover, just to kind of give it a chance to breathe. But this is the method I'm using. Now, the reason I like this method is because, for one, it's easy. You know, for another thing, I mean, it makes sense to me. You know, VA experiments. If not anything else, I'll experiment. And if for some reason I fail, I'll just try different things until I figure it out. You know, but the other reason is that, you know, once I bring this back up, because all you do is you uncover it, take the rock up, and then you just, you know, prop the tree back up. I'm still left with all this great organic material that'll continue to break down and feed my soil and feed the microbiology. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. Now, there's other methods that you can use. Let me say one thing real quick before I get to that. These mounds that look kind of high, now what this is, the smaller fig trees. Like this one was probably about, I'd say 6 inches tall. I can't really bend that, you know, so I pretty much just covered it up. And with all the mounds, whether it's this one or the ones that I was able to lay down, I'll come back, you know, every so often. I'd say maybe once every other week or so, and put more organic material on top just to make sure that it stays insulated. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned about, but I've not heard of this being an issue. I think T-Knox said it in one of her videos. Well, I know T-Knox said it, but I'm gonna try to paraphrase. But she said something to the extent of, if you lay in the soil for too long, you become soil. I think that with these trees still being alive and them still being viable, I won't really have to worry about that too much, I don't believe. And again, with all of the people, and I've seen a lot of people who do this, with all of the people that have done this, I've never heard anybody say, well, it ended up killing my tree. So I'm not too worried about it, but I'm just kind of anxious to see how it turns out. But like I said, I'm gonna add more, you know, as needed as time goes on. But I've got a few more that I've got to cover up. I've got one there, got one here. This is my Black Mission. I've got my Desert King. I've got my Chicago Hardy. I've got a few I got to cover up. And, you know, we'll do that. I'm not going to bore y'all with that process, but I do want to say this. So for all of my family out there that have fig trees like in pots, I don't have one in a pot anymore, but this is like the closest that I have to it being in a pot. I think the best method for you is to take it inside. If you're able to take your fig trees inside, take it inside. But if not, If it's in a pot, I would wrap it, you know, with like maybe some sort of a burlap or even like t-shirt material. Just wrap it from top to bottom, and then wrap that in plastic, like a plastic trash bag or something like that, and just tie it. And that should be sufficient. I've seen a lot more people do it that way than the way that I'm showing. And actually, I'll leave a link to our family from Ession's Family Growing that that actually does that method. He has a great video on that. He broke it down. That's Rob the Sapper Gardener. He broke it down pretty good. So I'll leave a link to that. But if it's in a pot, either take it inside or do one wrap with you know, some sort of cloth material, breathable preferably, and then wrap it in plastic and just twine it up, and just do it that way if it's in a pot, if you can't take it inside. Otherwise, if it's outside, you can do it that way, or you know, you can do it that way where you're just kind of laying it down and then covering it up. So I'm gonna get finished, and then I'll be right back. All right, we are back and we are done. So we got them all covered. Here's one of my Olympian. Now with this one, just like with the other one that I showed you earlier, I'm gonna cut these, I'm gonna clip these, because I don't want this to get damaged, because I don't know if the damage from this will travel. So I'm gonna clip these and, you know, maybe try to root them. I mean, Olympia, honestly, is a very reliable fig. So I'll cut those, try to root them and give them away. But we got that covered. We got all the rest of them covered. I thought I was gonna have to make the tough decision of, you know, covering one and not the other, because I thought I didn't have enough of this material to do both once I got down to the end. But thankfully I was able to get it done. So we got everything covered up. And we also, just to show you, we also covered up this one. This is an Olympia as well. This is one that gave me fruit. And this is the one that I said earlier in the season that, you know, I'm gonna definitely cover it up. But I wanted to show you what I was referring to. I took 2 layers of landscape fabric and wrapped it around it first from top to bottom, and then wrapped the plastic bag around it. This is a contractor's bag. I think it's a 45-gallon contractor bag, and just twined it. And that's pretty much it. You know, so that should keep it protected. So if you have it in a container, you can't take it in, or if you have it in the ground and you don't want to do the burial method, you know, just wrap it. It doesn't really take too much. So yeah, even the fig trees that I have, like this is an LSU gold, one of my LSU golds that I have in this plot here. This is where I grow my herbs and comfrey and stuff like that. We covered it up. There's the rock, and we covered it up. So all of my fig trees are covered. Hopefully the ice situation won't be too bad tonight, and you know, we'll see. Now my mulberry trees and things like that, I'm not really concerned about covering those, you know, because they're pretty tough. But it's the fig trees. Hold on one second. Yeah, I just wanted to turn the camera around so I can look you in your eye when I tell you this. Now the fig trees, you know, because they are, originally they grew in Mediterranean areas, and our climate is not really, even though we've, you know, people have been growing them here, they're not native to our climate. So, you know, sometimes they don't really do all that great in the cold. Lips is chapped. So, you know, that's why I really wanted to get those covered. I didn't want any of them to possibly die this year. Thankfully, last year, they pretty much all made it, but had to start from the beginning. So I didn't really get a whole lot of figs. I got a decent amount, but not as much as I could have gotten. So we got that covered. And then, like I said, you know, for people who have asked me and for people who I've actually given figs to, that's pretty much all you have to do, you know, cover it up or take them in if they're still in the containers. Like I said, if you have a mulberry tree, and I'm saying that because I also gave some people some mulberry don't worry about it, you know. If they're in containers and they're small, if you want to take them in, take them in. That probably would be a good idea. But if they're in the ground, they'll be okay. They'll be fine. Just mulch around them. You don't have to worry about covering them or anything like that. All right, but anyway, that's it. I don't want to keep you too long. Still waiting for camera lady to get home. I'm gonna, you know, I guess wrap it up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm hesitant because you know how I do. I'll close the videos out and then I'll remember something and I'll come back. You know what? If I remember something, I ain't coming back. I'll just save it for the next one. All right. Peace. Y'all stay warm.